Okay. We ready? Okay, good. I prefer to take a deep breath before starting. Helps me calm my nerves. We good? If you buy a second-hand vehicle locally, you're subject to special excise duty at specified rates based on the year of the manufacture of the vehicle and also based on the engine capacity. These are some of the things that as a taxpayer in Zimbabwe you are supposed to know. So if you have any questions that are hot and burning that you'd like to know, this is the place that you should be. Welcome to our Facebook Live as the Zimbabwe Revenue Authority. This Facebook Live is also available on the Star FM Zimbabwe Facebook page. I will be facilitating this taxpayer engagement. My name is Mr. Dobby. If you know me from radio, then I am your father. I am surrounded by champions of Customs and Excise. We're going to be answering all the questions that we might have. So if you have any burning question, feel free to drop it into our comment section down below right here on Facebook. I will allow them an opportunity to introduce themselves, starting from my immediate left, where I have a very beautiful lady, Ellen, and I have Kennedy, one who is having a bald head that is way better than mine. And then coming to my immediate right here, I have Vivian. Reminds me of that song that we used to sing. Vivian, Bima, Vivian, no, just for the fun of it. So starting with Ellen, may you please just give us a brief intro so that we get comfortable and get to know who is going to be answering our questions today.
Thank you. My name is Ellen Chitotombe from Zimbabwe Revenue Authority. I'm a Customs and Excise Technical Officer within the Customs and Excise Division. I'm here to serve this morning once again.
Thank you, Ellen. Kennedy.
Thank you once again. Good morning. I am Kennedy Takayera, a Revenue Supervisor in the Zimbabwe Revenue Authority Customs and Excise Division. We are here to serve.
And lastly, Vivian.
Thank you so much. My name is Vivian Mandi Teresa. I'm a revenue officer with the Customs and Excise Division. We are here to serve. Thank you.
Thank you very much for those brief introductions. Now, if we may get into it, we have summed up some of the most asked questions. We call them FAQs, frequently asked questions. But besides these, we are also welcoming all the questions that you might have in relation to customs and excise. So firstly, we will talk about this special excise that I introduced when I started speaking, the one that relates to second-hand vehicles that are bought locally. Can you tell me how one and who should be approaching ZIMRA for a change of ownership and how the process goes? Maybe Kennedy, would you be able to talk about that?
Thank you. I will take that question. The buyer or seller of the motor vehicle can approach ZIMRA for change of ownership. Also, a clearing agent registered with ZIMRA is also in a position to visit ZIMRA for change of ownership. And we are saying second-hand vehicles that are bought locally are subject, as you rightly pointed out, to a special excise duty at specified rates based on the year of manufacture and engine capacity. And this special excise duty is payable in United States dollars unless if the transaction is concluded in Zimbabwean dollars, wherein the equivalent amounts in Zimbabwean dollars shall be applied at the prevailing exchange rate on the date of payment.
Great. Thank you for that. So if I have understood what you've been saying, you're saying if I buy a vehicle, if I'm selling a second-hand vehicle, I am liable to approach ZIMRA for the clearance. And also, it might not be myself, the buyer or the seller, but it might also be a clearing agent registered with ZIMRA.
Yes.
Great. Great. So maybe the next question that might be pending is, what are the required things? What are the required? Are there any documents? Is there any paperwork that is required for the change of ownership to be processed?
Thank you once again. We have a set of documentation that are required for one to effect change of ownership for a vehicle, second-hand motor vehicle that is bought in Zimbabwe. The first document will be the original vehicle registration book for the vehicle in question. The next item would be a valid police clearance issued by the Zimbabwe Republic Police, VTS section. And a point to note on the valid police clearance is that the validity period of this police clearance has to be within 14 days from date of stamping of that police clearance for it to be acceptable by ZIMRA for the change of ownership. One also has to provide the national identity cards for both the buyer and the seller to the transaction, as well as the original agreement of sale. And a point to note for the original agreement of sale, it has to show or include the following details. The first, it has to show the details of the buyer and the seller, the full names, their addresses, and their national identity numbers. The agreement of sale also has to show details of the vehicle sold, which include the make, the model, the year of manufacture, the engine, and chassis numbers. The agreement of sale also has to show the full sale price to the transaction, as well as it has to bear the signature for the buyer and the seller. In the case that the original agreement of sale is lost, the clients have to submit an affidavit signed and stamped by a commissioner of oaths, and this affidavit will then be acceptable to ZIMRA for effecting change of ownership. So these are the documentation required for one to approach ZIMRA to effect change of ownership, among other
documents
Yes.
and other things required.
Yes.
Thank you, Kennedy. Thank you so much. I think that was quite clear enough. Now, this is something quite burning. I will say burning because probably it's the terminology in these requirements. You see, we all are familiar with excise duty rates. But then I understand that there are some that are called special excise duty rates. What makes them special? Why are they special duty rates? What are these special excise duty rates?
The special excise duty rates is the one which apply to the change of ownership regime, and for the specific rates which apply for each and every vehicle that would have been sold, second-hand motor vehicle or bought. Remember, earlier on we said the rates that apply are based on the year of manufacture and the engine capacity relevant to that vehicle. And these vary, the special excise duty rates vary according to the engine capacity and the year of manufacture. And a schedule is available with these rates on our website www.zimra.co.zw, as well as our clients are free to contact our contact center on their number 585 for more information with regards to the special excise duty rates that apply for each regime. Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much, Kennedy. And well, before we continue with more questions on rebates and customs excise duty, maybe you might need to know how to contact ZIMRA. We are here to serve, and this is where you can contact us for us to serve you. You can contact us on our toll-free number, which is 585. You don't need to have any airtime in your mobile device for you to be able to dial up this number. If you want to send us an email, you can send us an email at contactcenter@zimra.co.zw. Now, contact center is one word with center ending with an R-E instead of E-R. Contact center@zimra.co.zw. You might also want to take note of these numbers. If you're using a net one line, you can also call us on 080-102-71. And if you want to contact us over and via WhatsApp, you can contact us +263 code for Zimbabwe 782 729 862. We are live on our Facebook page. The ZIMRA Facebook page is Zimbabwe Revenue Authority ZIMRA, and it has a verified blue badge for you to make sure that you are on the right platform and not a fake account. Thank you very much for joining us here. We appreciate you, and we would appreciate your questions. Bring them down into the comment section. Type it out if you have any burning question that is relating to customs and excise. As we continue, maybe let's also tackle something relating to rebates for civil servants. So civil servants and members of the Independent Service Commissions can import under a rebate of duty motor vehicles imported or taken out of bond as provided by the statutory instrument SI 247 of 2023, promulgated on 29 December 2023, which replaces SI 124 of 2022. Now, under this, are there any particular vehicles that qualify? Vivian, maybe.
Okay, thank you so much for the question. Under the civil servants rebate, we've got a number of vehicles that qualify to be considered for the importation. And these vehicles include our sedans, it includes our station wagons, it includes our single cabs, our SUVs, our king cabs, and as well as the double cabs.
Okay.
But one thing to note is these vehicles should be not more than 10 years from the date of the manufacture of the vehicle at the time of the importation.
Okay.
It means by the time that you import the vehicle, it should be 10 years and below. Yes.
Right.
Those are the vehicles that qualify.
Oh, thank you so much, Vivian. And just to reiterate and repeat, you might have missed that. We are saying that if you are a civil servant, or maybe if you are a member of the Independent Service Commission, you can import a vehicle under a rebate of duty motor vehicles imported or taken out of bond. This is provided under statutory instrument SI 247 of 2023, promulgated on the 29th of December 2023. This statutory instrument was replacing the SI 124 of 2022. Now, what is the type of documentation that is required for one to go through with the import?
Okay, thank you so much. For the import, this qualifying civil servants should submit quite a number of documents to ZIMRA, to their nearest ZIMRA office for processing. They need to submit a duly signed application letter that has full description of the vehicle. That is the year of manufacture, the make of the vehicle, the model, the engine number, the chassis number, and as well as the color of the vehicle. They also need to submit a pro forma invoice, a commercial invoice, a CBCA certificate, or any other documents that pertains to the importation and transportation of the vehicle. They also need to submit a recommendation letter from the Public Service Commission or from the Independent Commission. That is the Police Service Commission, the Defense Forces Commission, and the Prison Commission. They also need to submit a letter from the responsible permanent secretary of the applicant's land ministry. That is to say, for example, if somebody is from the police force and want to apply for this rebate, they have to bring that letter from the Home Affairs Ministry. Okay. They also need to submit a concurrence letter from the Treasury, that is from the Secretary for the Ministry of Finance. The applicant also have to submit a copy of the driver's license, a copy of their national ID, their current payslip, and a proof of residence. These documents can be submitted physically at any ZIMRA office, or they can be emailed to the ZIMRA.
Okay.
Yes, thank you.
Oh, great. Just like has been said by Mr. Manditereza, the documents that he has mentioned here can be submitted to ZIMRA in person or via ZIMRA email at the ZIMRA office, where the rebate will be granted. There's a question here on our Facebook Live in the comment section that says, are there any import value limits?
Thank you so much. And thank you for the question. The maximum import values in respect of the vehicles that are imported under the rebate by the qualifying civil servants is dependent on the grade of the serving public servant. And this is listed from grade B and C, grade D, and the deputy directors. I think these rates, they can find them from when they make their applications through the island ministries. Yes.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Vivian Manditeresa. Well, next we will be hearing from Ellen Chitotombe, and she's going to be talking to us about the suspension of duty on motor vehicles imported by immigrants. But before we get to hear her speak about this and more, let us take a quick break so that we can also sift through the questions that you are sending through our comment section, and then pick on a couple of them to respond to them just soon after the quick break. Stay tuned. We are ZIMRA. We are here to serve. Thank you for bearing with us. We're still continuing with our taxpayer engagement right here on the Zimbabwe Revenue Authority Facebook page. As ZIMRA, we are here to serve. And please note that these engagements have been going on since last year for your service, because we understand that there are questions around that you might need to understand, and social media is one of the easiest platforms where we can gather around and talk about these and more. My name is Mr. Dobby, and I'm facilitating this taxpayer engagement. I have three panelists together with me who are going to be attending to some of your pressing questions that you have. On my immediate right, I have Mr. Vivian Manditereza, and on my immediate left, I have Ms. Ellen Chitotombe, and on my furthest right, I have Mr. Kennedy Takayera. These two gentlemen and a lady are going to be attending to your questions. So some of the questions that we have gathered from the comment section that you have sent us include a question that I will direct to Kennedy Takayera. Kennedy, this is in relation to religious material. And the question was asked by Kudzanai Muringai. Thank you, Kudzanai, for being a part of our Facebook Live. Kudzanai says, are there any considerations for religious books in Chapter 49 of the Customs and Excise Tariff Handbook? Most countries have a specific tariff code for these religious books, which I believe should be zero rated. At the moment, it's at 40% plus $1 per kg.
Thank you for the question. The customs laws allow for a rebate of duty on importation of religious materials, and these materials are specified and do vary, and we urge our clients to approach the nearest ZIMRA office for more information on this rebate, and also to contact us through our socials for more information. But this rebate, like all other rebates, is subject to the meeting of different terms and conditions to be specific. One has to fulfill in order to benefit from this rebate. So we urge Kudzanai to contact us or go to the nearest ZIMRA office for assistance and further engagement with regards to the inquiry. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Takayera. And thank you, Kudzanai, for asking the question. Hopefully, you have been well answered too. If you have any interest to contact us, these are our contact platforms. For a toll-free number, you can call us at ZIMRA on 585. It's as simple as that, 585. And you don't necessarily have to have airtime for you to call this number because it's a toll-free number. If you want to send us an email, send it to a contact center at zimra.co.zw, and make sure the center is ending with an RE instead of ER. Contact center at zimra.co.zw. Our social media platforms are Zimbabwe Revenue Authority -ZIMRA with a blue verified badge on Facebook, and ZIMRA_11 on Instagram. Now, here is a question that I will direct to Vivian. Vivian, this question has been asked here, and maybe you might help us to understand. The question was in relation to understanding whether when one is topping up, does this apply only in Harare, or does it apply to any ZIMRA office?
Thank you, Mr. Toby, for the question, and thank you to the listener for the question. Duty top-ups are done at any ZIMRA office where change of ownerships are done. This is not a phenomenon that is only happening in Harare, as the listener has said. The duty top-ups are not done on each and every vehicle. It's done on a case-by-case basis.
Oh.
Basically, maybe the issue is in Harare we've got large volumes of vehicles that are being presented for change of ownership. But the listeners need to know that these top-ups can be assessed at any ZIMRA office where change of ownerships are done.
Oh, great. Thank you, Vivian. That particular question had been asked by Winterton Gavaza. Hello, Winterton, and thank you very much for engaging with us. The actual question that Winterton had asked, which has been responded to by Vivian here, was why is vehicle duty top-up during change of ownership only applied in Harare and not nationwide? And like you heard, Winterton, the top-up is applicable at any ZIMRA office in Zimbabwe, and it might have seemed that it was only in Harare because there are large volumes in Harare than anywhere else in Zimbabwe. Now, maybe the last question on our comment section before we jump back to some of the questions that we got that on our frequently asked questions. This one I will direct to Ellen Chitotombe. Ellen, Mike Nube wants to know. Mike Nube says, last year there was an issue of a notice to the effect that we will hold a seminar for churches after the new tax laws were published. Was this seminar held?
Thank you, Mr. Dobie. Thank you, the listener, for asking the question. Yes, I do acknowledge there was such a notice that was given by ourselves that there is a seminar that is going to take place. Seminars are taking place in phases, and what I can actually tell you right now is it's still underway. We are preparing, and you should expect it shortly.
Thank you so much, Ellen. And maybe if you have a question relating to some of the engagements that we've had before since last year, and you might be saying you missed out on any one of our Facebook Live taxpayer engagements, you can refer to the ZIMRA YouTube channel. Some and most of the videos that we did are there for you to view and refer back to. As we go on with the questions that we gathered on our frequently asked platform, let's now talk about suspension of duty on motor vehicles imported by immigrants. This I will refer to Ellen Chitotombe. Ellen, for this particular suspension, who qualifies for the suspension?
Once again, thank you, Mr. Dobie. For this suspension, it's individuals, that includes spouses and children, that do qualify for this suspension. And these individuals will have resided or have been employed in Zimbabwe, and they are now returning to Zimbabwe after having resided outside Zimbabwe for a period of not less than 2 years.
Yeah. Great. Maybe I went ahead of myself. I could maybe talk to Vivian. Before I had gone to speak about suspension of duty on motor vehicles, maybe the actual question that needs to start is, what is the suspension of duty? When the term suspension of duty is presented, what does that mean?
Okay, thank you, Mr. Dobie. The suspension of duty is a suspension, especially for the immigrants' rebate. It's a suspension that is given under Statutory Instrument 10 of 2022, wherein the immigrant is the duty that is supposed to be paid by the immigrant is suspended if the immigrant qualifies and has proven that they have met all the conditions for the vehicle to qualify under suspension of duty. The immigrant will import the vehicle duty-free. They will only have to pay VAT on the vehicle. The VAT component remains, but the duty is suspended. Yes, that's the suspension.
Okay.
Yes.
Great. Thank you for that. I'd like to believe that that's just quite clear enough. Maybe to Kennedy, Mr. Takaira, are there any type of vehicles that can be imported under this suspension of duty?
Thank you, Mr. Dobie. Yes, the vehicles that qualify for importation under suspension of duty for immigrants has to be an immigrant can import one vehicle for personal use and not for commercial purposes. And the qualifying vehicles are listed in Statutory Instrument number 10 of 2022. And a point to note is that no person under the age of 16 years is allowed to import a vehicle under this suspension. And there are also conditions that pertain to the types of vehicles. And the first condition, the vehicle should be owned by the immigrant at least 6 months prior to the time of his or her arrival. The second condition, the vehicle must also be in physical existence and fully paid for by the immigrant before the time of arrival. So those are the conditions and types of vehicles that can be imported under this suspension of duty for immigrants. Thank you.
You're welcome. Let me come back to you, Mr. Tagaera. You said that under conditions that should be met for importation, you said that the vehicle should have been owned by the immigrant at least 6 months prior to the time of the immigrant's arrival. When you say time of arrival, what do you mean? Which time are you referring to?
Thank you. With regards to time of arrival, for an immigrant who has previously resided or has been employed in Zimbabwe and who has been in a course of study, it is the first occasion on which he or she returns to Zimbabwe after successfully completing such course of study. Or if the immigrant has been on a contract of employment, it is the first occasion on which the immigrant returns to Zimbabwe after expiry of such contract of employment. Or if the immigrant has been on an extended absence for any other reason, it is the first occasion on which the immigrant returns to Zimbabwe. Our clients also have to note that for a former resident who enters Zimbabwe as a visitor and does not depart from Zimbabwe, the time of arrival shall be deemed to be the first occasion on which the immigrant imports the vehicle within 3 months from the grant of his or her permanent returning resident status. So that is all with regards to the time of arrival that our clients have to take note of.
Well, thank you, Mr. Tagaera. Thank you. So, like you heard from Mr. Tagaera, there is a specification of what time of arrival means, and he mentioned different categories. He mentioned if you went out of the country for studying, or maybe if you had been on a contract of employment outside the country, or if you had been on an extended absence. And there was also a point to note there from Mr. Tagaera where he said that if you were a former resident of Zimbabwe and you enter as a visitor but not departing the country, then the first occasion on which you import a vehicle within 3 months from the grant of permanent returning resident is when they deem it to be your time of arrival. Now, I understand for any important way to go on, there is need for documents, documentation, paperwork. What documents does one need to submit to be considered for the immigrant suspension? Vivian, do you think you can tackle that?
Thank you, Mr. Toby, for the question. As my colleague has alluded to, we've got different categories of immigrants. We've got students coming back after completion of their studies. We've got those who have stayed outside for other reasons for more than 2 years.
Yes.
So there are a number of documents that need to be submitted, and these also depend on the type of the immigrant we are talking about. But I'll just list the documents. We need, the immigrant should submit proof of employment or a residence permit to show that he was employed and he was a resident in a foreign country. We need the immigrant to also submit proof that they've completed their studies. That is for a person who was pursuing studies outside the country. We need also proof that one is terminated their contract of employment. That is for a person who has been employed outside Zimbabwe. The immigrant also need to provide a declaration on a prescribed form stating that the effects and other goods that they are importing are going to be for his or her personal use. We also need a declaration from the immigrant that the suspension has not been granted to him or her for in the last 4 years. There is also a written undertaking that the immigrant need to make that the vehicle will not be sold or disposed of in any manner, and that the immigrant shall not leave Zimbabwe for a period of more than 6 months within the 24 months of his arrival. There's also need for a written undertaking to pay such duties in the event that the immigrant decides to leave Zimbabwe within the 24 months. There's also a written undertaking to notify the commissioner of any changes in the residential address of the immigrant. They also need to provide ZIMRA with satisfactory evidence of the acquisition, ownership, and purchase of the goods. I think those are the documents that they need to supply to ZIMRA.
Oh, great. Thank you so much, Vivian. I appreciate that a lot. You are watching a Zimbabwe Revenue Authority Taxpayer Engagement. We do these engagements every quarter, and we understand that as a taxpayer, you have things that you wish were addressed to if we would come together. And the easiest way that we can do so is via social media. That is why we hold these Facebook Lives. And this Facebook Live is not only available on the ZIMRA Facebook page, it is also available on the Star FM Zimbabwe Facebook page. Let me give a shout out to John Maposa Masirande, who is watching us on the Star FM Facebook page. Also shout out to Kudakwashe Mapfumo Maspiers. We appreciate you as well as Dan Kambale. So Dan Kambale, you asked a question and you said you did not catch the ZIMRA toll-free number. So the ZIMRA toll-free number is 585. That's the toll-free number that you can use. And then if you also want to use our WhatsApp platform, please pay attention. The WhatsApp number is +263 782 729 862. I'll repeat once again, +263, that's code for Zimbabwe, 782 729 862. You can use that one, and if you're using a net one line, you can also dial toll free on 080 102 71. As we continue, still on the issue of immigrant suspension, maybe it would be good also if we talk about the conditions on vehicles cleared under immigrant suspension. What are such conditions, Ellen?
Thank you, Mr. Dobby. Yes, we do really have that are supposed to be met if you are to clear under immigrant suspension. So the immigrant shall not sell or dispose of in any manner or display for a sale the vehicle that would have been cleared under immigrant suspension. So it is worth to take note that you shall not sell, you shall not dispose, or even display the vehicle for sale, of which such suspension would have been granted within 24 months after the date of being granted such rebate, unless, so if you decide you want to sell or you want to display or you want to dispose, then maybe you'll have to contact the Commissioner General and get permission. So the Commissioner General should have granted you permission to dispose or even sell, or the duty which would have been payable at the time of granting the suspension is paid. So we are saying if one person has been cleared under immigrant's rebate, you are not supposed to dispose of that vehicle. If you feel for one reason or another you have to dispose of it, kindly approach ZIMRA and get authority granted from the Commissioner General, or be prepared to pay the duty that was suspended at the time that you cleared under suspension. Then, any immigrant to whom a suspension of duty has been granted shall, for a period of 2 years after granting the suspension, they should notify the Commissioner of any change of their residential address. You'll find that if you clear your vehicle under immigrant suspension, we do also take all those details about the address that you're going to use. So for one reason or the other, if that address changes, you're supposed to notify the Commissioner of the change of the address, and this should be done within 14 days of the change of address. And then you're also required to report to the nearest customs office once every 12 months during the period of the suspension, of which, if you fail to do so, full duty waived at the time that you cleared your vehicle shall become due and payable.
Oh, great. Maybe to extend further on that, still on you, Ellen. If an immigrant who has been granted a suspension of duty, who emigrates or departs from Zimbabwe for a period of more than 6 months, within 24 months for the date of suspension, can there be anything that happens around them? Should they be worried that something might happen to their suspension?
Thank you, Mr. Dobby. Definitely. If something like that happens to you, and you feel you have to depart Zimbabwe, life is very dynamic. You might have moved from that other country and you think you're going to stay here for good, but something else crops up. All hope is there for you. You should obtain prior written permission granted by the Commissioner General of ZIMRA to leave the vehicle or the things that would have cleared under immigrant suspension. Then the other option is the duty which would have been payable at the time of granting the suspension. You can come up and say, guys, I'm no longer going to stay as I had planned. Dear Commissioner, may I have permission to pay that duty that would have suspended? It is very important to take note of this, because if you just leave the country without notifying the Commissioner General and necessary paperwork is done, we would take it that you are going against the law and you will have to face the full wrath of the law.
Thank you, Ellen. Thank you so much. I believe that was quite clear enough. We see your many questions that are coming through on our Facebook Live in the comment section on both pages that we are live on. We are live on the Zimbabwe Revenue Authority -ZIMRA Facebook page. And please, when you refer this page to others, make sure you're referring them to a page with a verification blue badge on Facebook to make sure that they don't have a fake page. And you can also watch us live right now on the Star FM Zimbabwe Facebook page as well. Let me give a mention to VMAC for being here. We have seen your question in the comment section below. We're going to attend to it shortly. Kudakwashe Bayera, hello, thank you very much for joining us. Zama Film Timanze, we appreciate you as well as Big Boy Bilindlovu and Philip Mapiro and Dylan Moyirwa. We appreciate you, and if I have not mentioned your name, I'd like to apologize for not having gone through that, but well, we are well aware of all the questions that you're giving us, and we are well aware that you are here together with us going through this taxpayer engagement. Keep the questions coming. We're going to take a quick break, another short one, and when we come back from this one, after attending your questions and other frequently asked questions, we will call it a day for today. Together with me, my name is Mr. Dobby. I have on my immediate right Mr. Vivian, and Mr. Vivian is joined together with on the far left is Kennedy, and then on my immediate left here is Ellen. These three champions of customs and excise are ready to tackle any question that you have. But I will also kindly ask you, when you are asking the questions, try the best possible to give clarity to your questions. Make sure your question is clear enough to understand. Ask in relation to what you're going through or what you went through, as a way for us to find it easier to tackle the question. After this quick break, we'll come back and attend to more of your questions. Stay tuned. thank you for keeping with us until this long. This shows the hunger that you have in knowing and understanding all the relevant information in relation to customs and excise as a taxpayer in Zimbabwe. My name is Mr. Dobie, and it is my honor and the greatest pleasure to be facilitating this taxpayer engagement. We do this every quarter to make sure that you are well informed as a taxpayer in Zimbabwe on customs and excise. Today, on this particular Facebook Live, on this taxpayer engagement, I'm joined by three members of, should I call you members of jury, guys? We're joined by three wonderful people here who are going to help us. We have two gentlemen and a lady. We have Ellen, she's the lady amongst us, and we have Vivian on my immediate right, and on my far left, we have Kennedy. I want to appreciate the presence also of Dylan Muyirwa. And Dylan, you asked a question, and we took note of it in our comment section. Dylan's question is going to be referred to Kennedy. Kennedy, Dylan is asking, and Dylan Muyirwa says, if you've been living in another country, but you frequently visit Zimbabwe, without having used your returning resident status, what will happen when you eventually decide to make use of it?
Thank you for the question, Mr. Dobie, and thank you to Mr. Dylan for the question. When you are residing outside the country and you visit here and there the country, and you are treated as a visitor, and that visitor status is endorsed again in your passport by the immigration department, that you are indeed a visitor and you have been given days to come and visit and go back, it has no bearing on your returning resident status or on your immigrant suspension status. You still enjoy the immigrant's suspension status when you finally decide to come back and reside in the country. Upon the granting of a permanent returning resident status, again by the immigration department, and you meet all the conditions that we have been highlighting on the suspension of duty for immigrants. Thank you.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you very much, Kennedy, for responding to Dylan's question, with the hope that Dylan has gotten a good response and a satisfactory one. Referring to the next question, this one is coming from Philip Mapfiro. Philip asks a question and says, I would like to apply for a rebate of duty on plant and equipment used in the manufacturing company. Do I have to approach the Ministry of Industry and Commerce first? And how do I know if the plant and equipment qualify? Ellen, would you like to respond to Mr. Mapiro?
Thank you, Mr. Dobie. And once again, thank you to our listener, Mr. Mapfiro. I would like to say, yes, you can approach the Ministry of Finance and Economic Development and Investment Promotion to find out on whether what you're supposed to do if you're going to import that equipment that you're talking about, and they will serve you and they'll give you a concurrence letter or communication that you're also supposed to forward to ZIMRA in the event that you have decided to import, and information about whether your equipment can qualify and everything. You can get the information from the ministry, and you can also get the information from ZIMRA when you are importing the equipment.
Well, thank you, Ellen. Hopefully, Mr. Mapfiro has been well responded to. And maybe another one. This one has been asked by Lucas Kunene. And Vivian, Lucas wants to know our position as ZIMRA on the importation of dairy products, if there are any restrictions and duty percentages.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Dobie. Thank you to Lucas for the question. It's true. Dairy products, their importation into Zimbabwe is restricted. There are quite a number of permits that one needs to obtain before the importation. Among these permits is a permit from Agric and a permit from the veterinary department. The importer also needs to obtain a license from the Ministry of Industry and Commerce. As for the rate of duty, I would say the important is to visit the nearest ZIMRA office to inquire about the rates of duty, or they can find out themselves the rates of duty from the tariff handbooks. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you very much, Vivian. And well, we're getting to the final segment of our list of questions in relation to customs and excise in Zimbabwe. And the section that we are talking about now is in relation to a rebate of duty for tourists. Possibly you are a tourist and you are intending to visit Zimbabwe at some particular time, and possibly in your head you might be wondering, could there be a rebate of duty granted to you and your foreign registered vehicle that obviously is not intending for consumption in Zimbabwe? You're saying, this is just for my personal use. I just want to visit your country using my own vehicle. Do I get to have any rebates of duty? Well, this is something that will best be answered by Ellen Chitotombe. Ellen, one is a tourist. They want to visit the country. The car is theirs. They don't want to sell it in here. They don't want to do any business with it. They just want to move around with their own vehicle that is registered in a foreign country.
Thank you, Mr. Dobie. Definitely there is something in store for you. What happens when a tourist is visiting Zimbabwe? There is a rebate of duty that is granted to foreign registered vehicles. And these foreign registered vehicles will be intended for use by the tourist. They are not supposed to be consumed in Zimbabwe. So they will have to be temporarily imported into the country so for the tourists to maybe have ease of traveling. And the tourist should make sure that the vehicle is not going to be disposed, it's not going to be traded, or it's not going to conduct any commercial activities in the country. And these vehicles that are imported, they are imported under temporary import permit for the visitors. It is usually abbreviated TIP. And the rebate is granted according to our laws by Section 120 of the Customs and Excise Act, Chapter 2302, as read with Section 104 of the Customs and Excise General Regulations, as published in Statutory Instrument 154 of 2001. All these statutory instruments that I'm talking about, they're public books. You can access them, read them, and really do understand. Where you don't understand, you can always contact us and we clarify.
Thank you so much. In extension to what you've just told us, Ellen, why do we have this rebate of duty for tourists? And maybe also, when we are referring to the word tourists, which groups of people are falling under this rebate of duty for tourists?
Okay. This rebate is meant for visitors that are visiting Zimbabwe. So these visitors, they also include our own Zimbabwean citizens that are now living abroad, who will be coming home to visit. But otherwise, under normal circumstances, they are residing in the foreign countries. Those people also include, or maybe, for example, a South African citizen who is visiting our country can also benefit from that. They can bring their foreign registered vehicles for ease of traveling from one place to the other, as they will be visiting our country.
Yeah, great. Thank you so much. So, in essence, you're saying any person who is not a resident in Zimbabwe but travels to Zimbabwe for a period of time specified at the time of their arrival fall under and qualify for this rebate of duty for tourists, yes?
Yes.
Great. Quite clear. Quite clear. Are there any types of vehicles that fall under this rebate of duty for tourists?
Definitely, Mr. Dobie. Not all vehicles do qualify on this type of a rebate. Fine, we do have passenger type motor vehicles that are designed for the transport of less than 15 people, including the driver. These are commonly known as saloon cars, sedans, or station wagons. We also have goods carrying motor vehicles with a gross vehicle weight of 5 tons, such as our pickups and the double cabs. And we also have the caravans and their trailers that are pulled by these qualified vehicles.
Okay, quite interesting. Quite interesting. And what are the conditions for granting this rebate? Which conditions do I have to meet if I want to get through this? Maybe if I can throw this to Vivian.
Thank you, Mr. Toby. There are quite a number of conditions that one needs to meet for them to be granted a TIP, a temporary import permit for a vehicle. The first condition is that the tourist, they have to provide a valid driver's passport, clearly indicating the duration of their stay in Zimbabwe. This duration is determined by the immigration stamp and the endorsement, where they are given days for their visit. We also need them to provide us with the original vehicle registration book. If the vehicle is not owner-driven, the driver also needs to produce authority for him or her to use the vehicle in Zimbabwe. And this authority is granted by the owner of the vehicle. It can be in the form of an affidavit. The vehicle should be for personal use, like what my colleague said. It's a personal use for the visitor. The driver should also undertake to remove the vehicle from Zimbabwe at the expiry of the TIP or at the time of his departure from Zimbabwe, whichever comes first. For example, if the driver is given a TIP that is valid for two months,
Yes.
and he decides to depart from Zimbabwe within 1 month, it means he should take out the vehicle when he's going out, even though the type is still valid. Yes. The visitor is also not allowed to sell the vehicle that is on TIP, to offer it to someone, or to display for sale, lease, or to hire the vehicle to some other people. Okay. If they do so, then the full duty is applicable on the vehicle. Right? In the event of an extended stay, let's say the visitor has been granted a TIP that is valid for 1 month, then they decided to extend their stay in Zimbabwe for another month. They need to visit the nearest ZIMRA office to be able to extend that TIP. But it is also important for our visitors to note that TIP, you cannot extend it for more than 3 months.
Okay.
So after 3 months, you have to re-export the vehicle, even if you still need to stay in Zimbabwe. Right. All vehicle imported under TIPs have to be exported, like I said, yes, at the time of the tourist's departure from Zimbabwe.
Those are the conditions that one has to meet.
Yes.
Oh, quite interesting, quite interesting. Well, they say to err is human, and people make errors sometimes. And I understand that there are possibilities that one, without knowing, might violate their temporary import permit. So maybe it would help if you can give us scenarios where one is likely to violate their TIP. Do we have any such scenarios that could help, so that when someone is about to do that, they will remember that, well, I heard that if I ever then do this, I am violating my TIP?
Thank you, Mr. Toby. Like what I've said previously, if the tourist departs from Zimbabwe and leaves the vehicle in Zimbabwe,
Yes.
is one violation.
Okay.
That's a violation of the TIP requirements. We've got a situation whereby the tourist might get involved in an accident in Zimbabwe, and they decide to leave that vehicle because it's now a wreck or it has been damaged beyond, it's still a violation. What they need to do is they need to surrender that wreck to the commission before they leave the depart. Yes. Also to overstay with the TIP.
Okay.
It's also another violation. You are given a TIP for 3 months. The 3 months are up, and you still want to enjoy the vehicle in Zimbabwe. You don't extend the TIP. You stay with the car in Zimbabwe with an expired TIP. It's another violation. Yes. The violations.
Great. Thank you so much. There you have it. So I believe that you were paying due diligence and particular attention to what was being said. If you are in Zimbabwe right now, and if you came in and you benefited from the tourist rebate, you might need to pay attention not to violate your TIP. Well, let me extend these questions to Mr. Takayera. Kennedy.
Yes.
Are there consequences for breaching TIP conditions? I was asking Vivian just now about the scenarios, certain scenarios that we could say maybe if one does this, if one does that, they will violate their temporary import permit. Let's say one has violated their temporary import permit. What are the consequences?
Thank you, Mr. Toby. There are many consequences if one, for one reason or the other, violates the conditions of the TIP. And the first among many is this may lead to seizure of the vehicle. By seizure, we are referring to the vehicle being taken out of your custody by the Zimbabwe Revenue Authority for violation of the TIP. Then, violation of the TIP conditions may also lead to the levying of penalties, which will become due and payable by the visitor for such violation. Also, violation may lead to forfeiture of the vehicle to the state. And lastly, prosecution of the offender for such violation. So our clients have to take note of these consequences and adhere to the conditions set out on the TIP when they enter the country. Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much, Mr. Takayera. Well, I'm not done with you yet. We will continue with you this way. We are in the electronic age. Things have gone digital largely. So one might think, well, how do I, or is there a particular way that I could get a temporary import permit online?
Thank you for the question. Yes, there is a way. We have what we call an electronic temporary import permit for visitors vehicles, ETIP. And this is a mobile or web-based application which allows for the application of a TIP for a foreign registered private motor vehicle prior to arriving at the border post or port of entry. The TIP app, ETIP app, can be accessed from the Google Play Store or alternatively on the ZIMRA website, and the link being https://ecustoms.zimra.co.zw/etip/. And the visitor can access the ETIP app from anywhere in the world where there is internet access and make the application for the electronic TIP in advance. From the downloaded app or web page, the client, for a first-time user of that application, once you download the mobile app or web page, you select sign up. If you do not have an account, the required sign-up details include your last name, your first name, your passport number, the email address, your mobile number, and a password of your choice. To take note with regards to the password is that the password must contain at least one digit or special character, be it lowercase or uppercase letter, and be at least 10 characters long. this is for security reasons.
Yeah.
Once that is done, the details, the client clicks confirm details and proceeds to the next stage. And a dialog box will appear confirming that a message has been sent to the provided email address that you would have inputted when signing up. You open your email and activate your account using the code sent to your email by the application. After activation of your account, you then go back to the web page or mobile app and enter your passport number and password, that password of your choice, on the sign-in page. You would have logged in. After logging in, you select New TIP application and fill in the required information. If one is pulling a trailer, the trailer details must also be completed in addition to the private motor vehicle foreign registered that would have been inputted. You click submit when all details have been supplied. After submission of the details, you then check your email for an electronic TIP reference number. And this reference number is the one that you then present to ZIMRA officials at the border post or port of entry when you travel to Zimbabwe. Upon arrival at the border post, for example, be it at Bay Bridge or Chirunto or any other border post, the traveler or visitor presents this reference number to ZIMRA. Then the officer, what he just does is to retrieve your ETIP application and process it without having to capture again the details. So this in essence reduces the turnaround time and makes the process ever more faster. The traveler, in case an error is noted, you can amend the ETIP application via that button, edit my TIP application.
Okay.
If the traveler needs to edit for one reason or the other, the supplied information. There are instances, Mr. Dobie, when for one reason or the other,
yes,
you delay in coming. You have lodged your ETIP application in the system,
yes,
with an intended date to come. Let's say you want to come on 10 June, but for work commitments or any other reason, you delay and the ETIP expires.
Yeah.
You can be able to retrieve that ETIP to make an extension through a tab or a button written activate my TIP application. And this makes it user friendly. Instead of you recapturing your details, you just activate an expired ETIP application on that app.
Oh, beautiful.
And like we said, we are here to make it ever easier for our clients to transact with us. Hence, we always say we are here to serve. Thank you.
Quite convenient. Quite convenient. So, from Kennedy, the ZIMRA ETIP seeks to make it convenient for you, and it's also a quick way for you, if you're a visitor coming to Zimbabwe, to apply for your vehicle temporary import permit online. And if you're doing this online, you can do this from anywhere in the world before you arrive at any of our borders here in Zimbabwe. And once again, the website on which to apply for your ETIP is ecustoms.zimra.co.zw/ETIP, or lowercase ecustoms.zimra.co.zw/ETIP, and then you get on a platform where you can capture all the details and sign up and log in for your convenience. I'd like to believe that this taxpayer engagement has been very satisfactory to you. I'd like to believe most of your burning questions have been well attended to. I will also appreciate that there are some questions that we have not yet tackled, and that is because of the limitations of time. We would have loved to go on and on, but this is what you can do for your convenience. If ever you want to ask more in relation to anything that relates to customs and excise, in Zimbabwe. You can get to contact us on our contact center number, which is 585. It's as simple as that. You dial that number, it's toll free. You don't need to have any airtime in your phone, and you'll get in contact with ZIMRA. Or better still, if you are using a Net1 SIM card, you could contact us also toll free on 080-102-71. I'll repeat that number, 080-102-71. And if you want to contact us via WhatsApp, our WhatsApp platform is available on +263, code for Zimbabwe, 782-729-862. Once again, +263 782 729-862. And you can also email us at contactcenter@zimra.co.zw, and please pay particular attention that the center in contact center ends with an RE instead of an ER. From myself, Mr. Dobby, and the team that has been with me today to make this taxpayer engagement possible, we thank you very much for engaging with us. We'd like to see you every time that we have this taxpayer engagement. If you're wondering how then do I know when next you are going live, please follow our social media pages. On Facebook, right here on Facebook, it's Zimbabwe Revenue Authority -ZIMRA with a blue verification badge. And if you are keen to follow us on Instagram, it's @ZIMRA_11. And then there you have it. If you follow us on there, you'll get notifications of when next we're having a taxpayer engagement where you can ask some of these questions. It has been a great pleasure. Until next time, ZIMRA, we are here to serve.